Dr. Wilhelm has really had a lot of influence on our students here at Crockett Elementary. She uses a lot of, well, actually the integrity of words and word meaning, and therefore she has really brought a lot of concepts in science, the humanities, social studies, and interwoven everything into traditional values for our children.
So what does that mean? How does that help your students?
It helps our students, first of all, in academic achievement, because that is not only a goal of the district, but a goal of this campus. And through the use of word meanings, as you know, reading is our most important subject. And so in really getting into the word meanings, it has facilitated a lot of comprehension skills for our children. Second of all, we work a lot on character development and on traditional family values. And many of the things that Maryland does, you see things clicking for children. There are many times when we, for example, talk to the children about respect, about honoring each other, and you can talk and you can preach, but sometimes things don't click. She has an activity that you may be seeing here today that is called My Neighbor,
The eye.
Yeah, the pupil and the eye, and somehow that has clicked for the children, and they have been able to see that the other children, that adults, that everyone is just as important as they are, and has therefore brought unity to them as a classroom and to us as a school.
Did people think, boy, this lady she's very different? Did they think she was a bit strange at first, or did they respond right away to it?
Well, I think at first, if at anything, you know, she is highly intellectual and deep. However, you know, once you start listening to her, everything that she says makes sense. And I think that because of the high level of intelligence, really, on all of the words that she uses, you sometimes think, well, wow, children may not be able to grasp this, but they do, as you will see in the classrooms. The children relate to her, they relate to what she is saying, and they are able to put those concepts to use.
So do you feel, I mean, this is something schools should do? Should they have this kind of approach where, you know, the right side of the brain and the left side, the feelings and facts, that kind of are balanced out? I
definitely think that this is something that schools should have, because for many years, I think that we have left some of these things out. And now, as more research has been done and more studies have been done, we realize that we have to balance things, and children learn differently than others. Therefore, it is very important for them.
What about that family approach, that, you know, treating everybody as family?
Definitely the family approach is very important. As you know, society is different from when I know I was growing up. And so we want to really maintain and instill a lot of traditional family values, because we know that with the way that things are as far as violence in society, as far as gangs, when you have strong family values, children do not get interested in some of these things that are out there.
So you're glad she's here?
We are delighted, really delighted that she is here.
I think it's been great when she's consistent in coming, and I know she has to travel from Houston, Texas. It's really affected the discipline in the classroom. We have a lower number of problems. The reason being is that they have the concept of being a family, and not only a family in the classroom, but it goes on beyond the classroom. It's a family that's a universal family, knowing no boundaries, and they themselves remind themselves. She teaches them when they forget to remember, that the word that comes from remembering that we are part of a family, so therefore they remind themselves that they've forgotten to remember, and that we keep a journal in the classroom as to the different problems that we've had, and we can identify those, and it lowers the number of problems. It's been very good. It's been a very good program.
What about the words and then learning the meanings?
It's real important. We find that we as teachers, we forget about the integrity of words, and her coming in has given us the basis to the actual meaning of words, and it does a lot for the language and the use of the language, and having a respect for the language, not only oral but written.
Do you think that, boy, she was coming in with some ideas, I don't know if my kids are going to get this?
Yes, well, some of the ideas can be very abstract. I know from having taken philosophy classes, but a lot of times I'm surprised because I guess because they're children, they're able to understand a whole lot better than I can, and at times they explain it to me. So yeah, sometimes they seem a little abstract, and no, but they enjoy it, and a lot of them are able to bring their own ideas, and I think that we all bring out our own things that we pull out of the program, and every individual has his own ideas, but the basis is that we're all part of a family, and we need to treat each other with respect. And the golden rule, of course, the golden rule hasn't been taught in school for a long time. I went to elementary school in the 50s, and I know that it was always taught to us, and we forget that we don't teach it anymore, and this is like a very important rule that they should follow throughout life.
And it's amazing to see them wanting to learn beyond, you know, just the math and the basics. They want to know about language, about culture, and about the world. And it's really been exciting to see them wanting to know more. And one of my students had asked me, well, how did language begin? And so when she came in, it was just perfect. And it really has motivated. One of my students bought a Japanese dictionary. And at one point, when the librarian was giving away books, they were asking her for language books.
What's it done for you students?
It has exposed them, I believe, to things that maybe they otherwise wouldn't have been exposed to. It's also teaching them about language, about culture, and about the world, and morals, because I think that's very, very important. And it's something we talk about, but now they see that it's not just in the classroom, that if we carry that throughout our lives and everywhere we go, then it'll make the world a better place. And to see them wanting to do that and wanting to learn more, it's been a great approach. It has stimulated them, and that's what I wanted. And it's been a great thing for them. And I hope, you know, I wanted to continue. I know my class will be in 5th grade next year, but she'll come in, I'll have a new class, and she'll come in with my new class. And their discipline was wonderful. They were behaving, they were listening, they wanted to learn more. And like I said, they had stayed to speak with her even afterwards because they wanted to learn more and wanted to show her what they had learned. And they would bring me in books that they gathered themselves with different languages. So I was real proud of them. And it's just great to see them wanting to know more.
Okay, thank you.
It's a great approach.
All right.
This is my 41st year,
41st.
and I love it.
You must. That is great. What do you think about having Miss Wilhelm come in here?
Well, at first when she walked in, you know, I think the children were just like awestruck, you know, they didn't know what was going to happen. But I noticed that as soon as she started working with them, there was a lot of response. And children were just like opening up to her and making connections with what she was saying. And like you saw them right now, I mean, they all have something to say. And they seem to be grasping what she's trying to get across, you know. They're learning about that there are no others, that we are all one family. And they seem to be like falling in love with this language, you know, making connections with everything around them and how the words are used. They seem to be enjoying it because I see like a lot of response.
So does it help? You see it in the way they act? Or
I see it in the way they act and in the way they're, you know, like caring for one another, helping each other. I mean, this is all something that we try to teach them, you know, values, but it seems to be a carry-on, you know, so it's been positive. Yes, definitely positive with them.
A little nicer.
More respectful. If they see somebody needs something, right away they get up and share what they have. You know, and I see that going on, you know. Children who are artistic are willing to draw for the ones who are not so artistic. You know, we all have different gifts, and we seem to share our talents, you know, with one another. So I think that's a very positive outlook.
I think the overall benefit it showed me that kids know at an earlier age than we would expect them to, much earlier age as far as knowing words and being able to relate words and pull words apart. And it lets me know that we can teach them at a very early age.
Do they sense this familyness? Do they have a greater appreciation for that, or is that just something they forget once she goes?
hopefully it's going to be something that lingers with them, because they see that words are part of a family, and that they are part of a family. And I think they look at it in a total different aspect, because some of them have brought in family life and brought their experiences from family life with them. So hopefully it will linger on.
So what's the benefit? Should some schools consider at least talking about this?
Oh, definitely. It's definitely made me in the future to go ahead and bring in things. We may talk about suffixes and prefixes and so forth, but to pull those words apart and to get kids to understand that there is meaning with every part of that word, even at an early age, second grade, they can still understand.
I found out about her through the symphony.
Really?
That's right, and I received a protocol, a visit, and she asked would we be interested in pursuing studying with her through the arts, big concepts involving the whole world being one family. And certainly that is the kind of message that we want to portray at our school. Morals and character always go hand in hand, we believe, with academics, because we're multifaceted. We're not a singular kind of entities. So we are very, very delighted that Dr. Wilhelm has come and worked with our children, and we've discovered some very interesting things about our children when you see it from a very different perspective. They're even smarter and more insightful, intuitive, and caring than we might have thought before. As we explore language and the commonalities among cultures, we really see that we are one family on this earth.
What's it done for the children who've had her and seen her in action? I mean, have they behaved differently or anything?
Well, I think they've behaved exceptionally in her presence. She has asked them questions that perhaps no one's asked them before. The children have responded very spontaneously and genuinely to questions and concepts that are very deep and very important. So the children have been themselves in her presence and beyond.
So what does this mean? What should schools incorporate as part of their curriculum?
Well, I believe that schools ought to talk to the issue of our culture, our oneness, as well as we are teaching science and history, and there's evidence in those contents that speak to the oneness of us all. And I think that we need to be teaching those kinds of concepts in school just as important, or even more so, than reading, writing, and arithmetic.